Welcome to Leaders Unlocked Tool Lab. Short videos that explain a tool so that you can learn about it and implement so you can create the desired impact. Today we're going to talk about difficult conversations. And difficult conversations require a framework that you can apply and that we will explain today based on 3 pillars. First pillar is about preparation before you go into the conversation. And the second and the third pillar are all about how to hold the conversation, which is keeping connected and staying engaged. So the first pillar is asking yourself first, why am I having this conversation? Is it relevant enough? Is this a one-off? Or does it really need to be addressed? It is also asking yourself the question, how did I contribute to the fact that we're now having a difficult conversation, which is more stressful and maybe more uncomfortable? And the third thing you should ask yourself is, am I the right person to address this topic? Should it be HR or somebody more senior? Secondly, as you have your conversation, there's a lot of documents that companies have, like processes or policies, maybe contracts with information. So make sure you gather your facts and your figures so that when you have the conversation, you're not guessing around, but you're very clear on the documents, based on the documents you have, on what should be agreed. And last but not least, it is also about sensing what could be at stake for me having this conversation with this person, or what could be at stake for them. So make sure that you kind of prepare what emotions could happen and how people might react. And having a great preparation is #1 success factor for having a good and healthy, difficult conversation. It also requires you to think about your intention. Now, the second pillar is when you go in. So you have your employee, and the first thing you really need to do is create the framework. What are we going to talk about today? Why is this important? And what do I want to achieve? Once you've done that, you next say, this is the behavior that I've noticed, and you give examples. So you're very concise and specific about what this is about. And then thirdly, you explain the impact it has on a company, on a client, on a piece of the business, on a team. So it's very clear and framed what the conversation is about. Once you've done that, you also open up the conversation and say, okay, this is my view, or this is kind of what this is about. What's your perspective on what I just shared? And you allow your employee to share their views. You will notice what is similar with what maybe you are thinking and where are the differences. It's really important to allow them to explain. They might bring some more information and you keep listening and asking questions for clarification. Once that is done, you summarize to them and say, okay, this is what I heard you say. I can hear you say these things and I agree with that. And then I've also heard you things where we differ in opinion. Now let me share my opinion. So based on the information you got, you might change your opinion because maybe they gave something that you said, I didn't have that information. So I want to revise or not. And you make it very clear what your opinion is. As this happens, it will become clear for both parties what are the topics we need to work around. And then the next step is, let's create an action plan. So first of all, if you look at the things that need to be addressed, ask your employee first, how would you like to suggest to work on this? And then you give your thoughts. So make sure you build together. And if there's something that you don't agree with, you might also say, well, we're going to have to, differ in opinion, and this is the behavior I want to see. And last but not least, we asked them, by when are you going to do it? What do you need for that? And what do you need from me? That's really important. So we're all part of the process for development. Once that is done, your conversation is coming to an end. You summarize what you agreed. You make it very clear, this is what we agreed, these are the actions, this is the timing, this is what you need from me. And then you definitely ask for their commitment. You set up a progress meeting when you can look at, how is it going, checking in, and then you thank them. Thank them for showing up and being very honest and open to have this conversation. And that is how we hold difficult conversations.